Hey, how you doing? Dr. Canute White. Just want to talk to you about frustration and your reaction to frustration. I'm frustrated. I am fed up. I can't take it anymore. You ever heard those terms, those expressions? And you might have had that sort of feeling and express yourself in such manner. And it's okay. It is understandable. And I am Dr. Canute White, and you're listening to Learn a Bit, Teach a Bit, and on Canute Exploration. Your topic in a podcast. That's decided to teach a bit, and help persons to understand some of the challenges through lecture. Look, we all get frustrated now and again, and I just want to look at this frustration and the reaction to frustration for a while. If you look at those of you who are watching on our YouTube channel, will be able to see the slide. However, those listening might not be able to see it. Well, will not be able to see it unless they're watching, as well, or they have watched it, and now listen on their favorite podcast platform. But look, frustration is basically a barrier between you and your goal or goals. But let's take goal, one goal at a time, right? So it's like you are standing here, and between where you're standing and your goal, there's a barrier. Look, it will happen. No one can ever say that they had never experienced frustration, or perhaps you are no experiencing frustration and you want to understand what is frustration all about. And it's basically a barrier standing, sitting, happening between you and your goal, the thing or thing you want to achieve. So just consider that imaginary barrier. So, and it might be barriers too. And barriers can mean, financial challenges, someone in your life that keeping you back. It can mean challenges with and the job. Yeah, it can mean having to work several jobs and not able to take care or be there for your children. Your goal to create that bond, but these several jobs keeping you away from your children, from bonding with your children. And so barriers, we look at it as an imaginary barrier, but you call your barriers out. You know them. Anything that keeps you away from achieving your goals, our goal in life, whatever you want to achieve, those are barriers, and that's where frustration comes, because you're prevented from reaching that goal. So a lot of times we react to frustrations, and we might react positively or negatively, but there are several ways that you and I may react to frustration in our lives. And frustration, as I had said, is that barrier. It happens when there's a barrier between you and your goal, our goals. So we can be persistent, that persistency, right? People talk about, so we vigorously, journeying, that vigorous effort is directed towards reaching our goals, no matter what happens. So that barrier cannot stop us. We keep moving, keep pushing towards our goal, and this helps us to overcome the barriers. So when you're frustrated, this persistency means that you will eventually overcome your barriers. So think about those barriers, those things that prevent you from reaching your goals, and this causes this frustration in your life, and you feel, "Well, I'm frustrated, I can't bother." Yeah, That's the sort of things that happen in the fact that there's a barrier that preventing you from reaching your goal, the things you want, the things you need in life, goal or goals, and therefore you can be persistent in dealing with it. So that's persistence. Is really the vigorous effort to continue the journey towards your goal, our goals, despite the challenges. Another thing that you can do, we may do, yeah, is to basically go around the barriers. You know, find alternatives. Try to get to our goal or goals through different avenues, right? Be it lawful avenues, let me say that. You know, that's what I'd want to suggest. Lawful avenues, moral avenues. I am not here suggesting anything that is not the right and legal thing to do. But what I'm saying is that another way that we can react to frustration, or we often react to frustration, is to go around the barriers, variability, circumvention, try to find some other way to ignore or avoid the barriers to get to our goals. So that's one of the things that we often do in reacting to frustration. This one is interesting though. Another reaction that we take, as it relates to frustration, and I'm Dr. Canute White. This is Canute Exploration. Learn a bit, teach a bit, just looking at some academic stuff. I believe that this thing about frustration and reaction is critical because we get frustrated even during this pandemic. We want to achieve our goals, and a pandemic is like a wall that is between us and our goals, and therefore we become frustrated. But another way that we deal with frustration, and may deal with frustration, is to direct, for that matter, aggression. And this thing about direct aggression, it speaks to removes or destroy the barriers. This might be impossible though, or dangerous, and as a result, the person may try displacing aggression. And if you believe that you cannot attack the barrier, whatever the barriers are in your life that prevent you from reaching your goals, if you believe that you cannot attack the barrier, smashing the barriers, getting rid of the barriers, removing the barriers, destroying the barriers, then what we usually do, what persons often do, is to displace the aggression. Displace the aggression because we believe that there's a danger in attacking the barrier, in attacking the things, or removing, destroying the things that preventing us from reaching our goals. So we displace our aggression. And when you consider displacing aggression, it's basically redirecting aggression. Displaced aggression is redirected aggression in the sense that we are not able. There's some fear, insecurity in removing or destroying the barriers, the thing that stand in front of us, preventing us from reaching our goal. And because we cannot attack that, we just decide to attack something else, direct that aggression towards something else or someone else that has nothing to do with our frustration or with our barriers. And that is can be dangerous, and it can be unfair to the person or persons who receive that sort of aggression from us. And but that's one of the way, or most of us would want to react to our frustration. And frustration is that happens when there's a barrier between us and our goals, preventing us from reaching our goals. So the redirected aggression, when a person redirects its aggression to a target other than the source or the barrier of his frustration, this person believes the target is less likely to retaliate. So in other words, the person who you redirect that aggressions towards, you believe that that person is less dangerous, less likely to retaliate. And it tells me that a lot of times we become aggressive towards other persons because of the frustration that we have in our lives, and it's just that we choose the person who will not create or exert any danger towards us and is less likely to retaliate. So we usually, as we say in Jamaica, we pick on the weaker ones, right? Because that wall, that barrier, that person is a barrier between us and our goals. We cannot attack, remove, or destroy that person. So usually there are a number of us that really, really become the victim of aggression that is unfair because of the aggressor's frustration, and there's no way the aggressor believes that we will retaliate. So just want to throw it somewhere safe according to them. So show that aggression somewhere safe. That could tell us why we have so much arguments in relationships, and relationship, be it intimate, platonic, or whatever, right? Whatever sort of workplace relationship in terms of employer employees relationship. So that sort of challenge you will find happen, and that is something that need to be looked at. So that's displaced or redirected aggression there. Another way for us to deal with this sort of frustration, or we may want to deal with this sort of frustration, is to withdraw or escape. So there's a withdrawal or escape approach towards our frustration. And withdrawal or escape basically speaks to the individual who is frustrated actually leaving the source of frustration. Hey, I can't bother. I cannot bother. Be bothered. I'm just out of it. I quit. Right? So a lot of times this happens. So when you do that, you give up on your goals. You give up on your goal, and you decided not to journey towards your dream or dream anymore, and therefore you turn back, and that's not a wise way to deal with it either. Directed aggression and withdrawal, escape is not, they are not recommended in dealing with this, their frustration. So withdrawal, escape, actually leaving the source of frustration. This basically happens when the other reactions have failed. You try the other reactions and it doesn't work. You try redirect aggression. You try circumvention, and you try just to basically smash the barrier, and it doesn't work. So you withdraw or escape. Let's look at some of the things that we said that you may try. You try to be persistent, move on, carry on, you know, trying to deal with your goals, despite the challenges that you're having. You may go around it, try to find some other ways, and you may also direct aggression towards someone or something that is unlikely to attack you, say damage your furniture or your computer or something, because that those are unlikely to retaliate. Those are objects, and if that doesn't work, you may want to withdraw or escape. We're talking about frustration and our reactions. Not that all these reactions are good, but what happens is that we, as people, will react into our frustration in such manner. I believe that persistence is the way to go. The redirecting aggression and so on is basically not a go for me. So you might withdraw, escape if all those others have not worked, and this may be psychological, such as apathy and drug abuse. You might want to do that because you might do that, which is bad. Let me say that, right? But person react frustration by doing that because everything has failed, and a lot of persons may become suicidal because everything has failed. So that was frustration, and basically some of the ways a number of us react towards frustration, being frustration. And frustration, as I had said, is basically it happens when there's a barrier between you and your goals. There's something, someone, some event that is stopping you from reaching the things you want, your goal, and therefore you become frustrated. And there are a number of ways that you and I may deal with it, and it's wrong, some of those ways, but persistence is one of is the better way. Keep moving, keep doing what you're doing. One day you'll reach your goal. So you understand frustration. Thanks for listening. I am Dr. Canute White. Canute Exploration. Learn a bit. Just teaching a bit so that you can learn a bit. Hey, subscribe. Talk to your friends about the channel, Canute Media, the YouTube channel of Canute Exploration. Remember, Canute Exploration on Instagram, Canute Exploration on Facebook, Canute N on Twitter. So it's CANYOUTH apostrophe S, Canute's Exploration. Hey, catch you next time. Thanks for listening and good